Good evening. Welcome. My name is Joe Guenette. I am your District 21 Club Growth Director. And the nice guy sitting beside me is Gene Vickers, my club extension chair for District 21. We are so happy that you've all come to join us today. This is our first webinar that we've had for Club Growth, and I'm sure it's going to be an amazing event. Tonight, we're speaking on how to start a club beginning to the end. I know there's a lot of people out there that are asking about corporate clubs, advanced clubs, and community clubs. So this webinar is designed for everyone in District 21. And the person who I'm going to turn over to right now is a guy that really needs no introduction, Mr. Toastmaster, my good friend, and everybody's great friend, but my good friend, Mr. Gene Vickers. The man who gets them going, the guy who gets them going, yeah. Gene?
Hello, everybody. Welcome to our webinar. First of all, I want to start by saying, why would a person even want to start a Toastmasters club? A couple of things that I want to share with you as far as my experiences. One of the things why you first want to start a club is because it helps you get your Distinguished Toastmaster as far as your Advanced Leadership Silver, as far as a good high-performance leadership project. But the biggest thing for me yet in starting a new club is the new friends that you get when you start that new club, and those friends last for years. But as I progressed through Toastmasters and became district governor, a lot of the clubs that I started, a lot of the really special leaders came from the new clubs that I started. So besides becoming a distinguished Toastmaster, the friendship and so much support you will get, it is incredibly rewarding, and you will never, ever regret this step in trying to start a new club. So the first thing is, how do we start a new club? If you go to the Toastmasters webpage, there's a link right off the bat that will share with you as far as the different steps on how to take. One of the things, if you do click onto that link, is there's an incredible brochure that will give you all the details as far as costs, as far as all the things to do, and I believe that's on their link right now.
Oh, I'll get that up, but it's not up yet.
Okay. Shows you what I know. Anyways, if you do have a chance to get onto that web page, click onto that link. That if you use that link that shows that brochure, it is incredibly helpful starting a new club. When you do start a new club, the first thing you want to do is you want to find a venue, place where your club is going to meet. Obviously, you need to find the people who would join the club to make the club successful. And there's all kinds of ways to do that, depending on whether you're starting a corporate club, whether you're starting a community club, or whether you're starting an advanced club. But when you go to start that club, you want to have a venue that hopefully with the lowest cost possible, but a venue that has tremendous access and all the features that you need to have at a venue. You need to know what the costs are of starting a club. First of all, when you start a new Toastmasters club, there's a $125 US charter fee. That's a one-time fee. There's a $20 per new member one-time fee, and again, that's US. And every 6 months, there's a $45 US fee for all the new members. So when you're starting a new club, you need to find out what are the costs of starting this club, or what's the cost to become a member of this club. If you know the cost of the venue and break that down, if you know the cost, the $45 US, and the little added things like timers and other little add-ons that you'll need for your club, those are great ways to figure out what it's going to cost to become a member of your club. Do you have any comments there, Joe?
No, you're mentioning everything, and I'm going step by step as to what you said, and that's the exact steps that I took when I started my club, when I started Silverbridge Toastmasters, who unfortunately have now they're higher than we are, so I don't want to talk about them.
They're doing really well.
I taught them too well.
Once you determine the cost, you want to start off by having a demo meeting. And that demo meeting is the supercharge. That's the thing to make the club electrifying right off the bat. And one of the things a lot of people do when they go to have that demo meeting is they try to make it far too complicated. What you want people to do is when they come to the club is you want them to understand the benefits, why they would want to be part of that club, what's the value for them, what are the things they're going to get becoming a new member. The first thing that I like to do when I have a demo meeting is to line up the test speaker or the speaker. And the speaker is usually a 4 to 6 minute speech on what I received from Toastmasters, the benefits, the features, the values, benefits of becoming a Toastmaster. And if you can find someone that can really nail that, it doesn't have to be a seasoned Toastmaster. It could just be a person who has grown a lot as a result of the organization. And having that test speaker, and people see that, holy smokes, I could do that. And right after you do that test speaker, you want to show those people how safe the environment is in Toastmasters. So it's really important to have a pretty darn good evaluator to come up and evaluate that speaker, to show the strengths the speaker had, show areas where that speaker could improve to be even better than they were. And then, of course, finishing off, as the established technique is just showing all the strengths that speaker has. If you start off with a good speaker, a really good evaluation, and your chairperson, as they're going along in transitions, is sharing the things that people will gain from a regular Toastmasters meeting. Because usually in the demo meeting, we try to keep it quite short. An hour is a great time for the first demo meeting, just to show people what it is. But you want people to see what they're going to get. But the chair is going to explain things as far as delivering an inspirational presentation, delivering all the other things. But the speaker is what people are going to gravitate towards. The evaluation is what people are going to see. This is the safe environment. And then in the demo meeting, we also want to show people some of the fun. And what's some of the fun? Is start right off with 2 or 3 table topics for people to see, people put on the spot. And after we deliver those table topics, once again, we go back into that effective evaluation, just like we had mentioned before with the sandwich technique. So you've had the speaker, you've had the evaluation, the safe environment, you've had the table topics for the fun, you've had the evaluation again, once again, to show that everything gets evaluated in Toastmasters. Mm-hmm. And then, again, trying to just answer some of the common things that people will get from a Toastmasters meeting. And then opening it up for a discussion, questions and answers. And those questions and answers you usually find, because you've had some of the other key ingredients, those questions and answers will cover a lot of the real important. Of course, now you want people to know what the investment is, what it's going to cost them. So you give a little bit of a breakdown what it's probably going to cost to become a member of that club. Hopefully by the time this has all happened, you have 20 plus hands go up and say, hey, I would like to join this Toastmasters club. And when you have those 20 hands come up, you get those paperwork out there, you get everybody signed up. Hey, and you've started a brand new Toastmasters club.
How many would be the ideal amount of people to have at a demo meeting?
Joe, that's a good question. I believe that it's really important to get at least 25 people, a minimum of 25 people to a demo meeting. What happens is a lot of people focus on that number 20 because that's what you need to start a club. but you focus on number 20. Sometimes 1 or 2 people won't show up. Now you have 18 people there. 2 or 3 people won't put their hands up, so now you have 15 people interested in joining a club. So you're really close to starting a club, but you leave that meeting without starting a club, and then it's a make work project week to week to week to get that club fired up. If you get 25 people, in all likelihood, you will start that club that night.
So if I had only 20 people to sign up, say I had 17, could I become chartered?
You won't become chartered that night, but the thing is, if you have 17 people and the key is get them all signed up that night, then you know that you have to work really hard to get more people to the next meeting, and you can get chartered, probably be chartered the next meeting if you get 17 signed up.
But the magic number is 20. I must have 20.
You must
Is
have
that
20.
correct?
You bet. And a lot of new clubs will get that 20, and the big key now is getting all 20 of those people involved. And that night when you do get the 20, also elect a new club a list of club officers, and get that club officers really well organized. And how do you get them well organized? Well, one of the things in starting a new club is you want to get 2 sponsors, preferably 2 sponsors, and 2 mentors for that club. So those sponsors want to ensure that that paperwork is all set up and done properly, but you also want to get the structure of the club, so you do have all the club officers all aligned right off the bat in the first night, and then everybody can vote on, this is when we're going to have our meetings, this is the cost to join our club. And the key is you want to make sure when you set up those costs for the club that you set up enough money for the club to survive, but not set up such a big account that your club starts growing in the funds too much, because too much money in the account is not a good thing neither.
Right. Quick thing. I had it right at the tip of my tongue. It was so good too. Talk again, I'll think of it.
Okay, one of the things we'd like to have when you start a new club is it's really good to have 4 people if possible. So you want your chairperson, you want that speaker who's going to talk about the benefits they receive from Toastmasters. People can take on a double role. So when the table topic speakers, any of those people can take on table topics. But the key is 1 or 2 of the new people, you want to get them involved right off the bat. And it's always fun to find out who those 1 or 2 people are going to be, because as people are coming in, you're looking for the extroverts. And before you do the Toastmasters, you may not know the people, but you can tell by meeting this person, this is a great person to choose to do table topics. If you can put 1 or 2 people on the spot and get them doing it, immediately you're starting to latch on to a couple of people.
I remembered what I wanted to say.
Yeah.
You were saying sponsors and mentors. How long do I have to be a sponsor for?
Well, the key with the sponsor is to get the club going. So as a sponsor, you want to make sure the club is structurally organized, and once the club is all chartered and all the club officers, everything is all organized, club sponsors are pretty much done. The club mentors, however, they have to be there for a minimum of 6 months. And they are so key to ensuring that development happens in the club. And so those mentors really want to be involved and help individuals in their regular progress.
Now, are they the mentors? Are they new people just like anybody else off the street type of thing, or would they be experienced Toastmasters?
It's always good to get the experienced Toastmasters. I know the first time that I was a mentor for a club, I think I was in Toastmasters for 4 months. So I wasn't extremely experienced. But the thing is, I had worked with a few people to develop enough experience to know where to go, and I knew who to look on if I didn't need any help. So the answer is you don't have to be incredibly experienced, but you have to have enough experience to provide the support needed to keep that club going successfully.
Now, you said we have to be a mentor for 6 months. If the club is doing really well, after the first 8 weeks? Can't we just end then?
Well, you probably could, Joe, but if you ended then, you will not get credit as a mentor for the club. And the big thing is keep this in mind: is the club is going to get new people along. They're going to find new experiences. That it's always good to have that person around. So 6 months is definitely a minimum. And the reason why we say minimum, Toastmasters International says 6 months, but the thing is, if it's not a corporate club, they don't mind you being around. It's good to be around for a year if possible.
Okay.
That's the other point, is that it's the club that fills out the paperwork that allows the mentor to get credit.
You bet.
After the 6 months, they have to sign that paperwork.
Right.
So yeah, you can't exit early and still get credit.
Okay.
And that's one of the neatest things is when you go to form the new club. One of the first things that we do is we'll have a club charter party, and I think it's one of the most fun moments of starting that new club, because people are really starting to buy into the club. So when you get that, when Toastmasters International sends the district the charter papers for the new club, and they come and we have a big party, it's amazing how everything comes to life with that.
So what we've basically have described to you at this point is chartering up a corporate club or a community club. Now, Gene, if I can get you to speak about your forte in life, which is really corporate clubs. This guy, the business, he's Mr. Businessman, Mr. Toastmaster. Corporate clubs is his dream. And if anybody ever had a corporate that you want to talk to Gene Vickers, this is the guy to go to. Guide you along the whole works. So Gene, please talk to us about corporate clubs.
Well, first of all, with the corporate club, and you're talking to the leader of that particular business, one of the things you want to ensure is what the company is going to commit to. Some companies are willing to pay for the charter fee, the one-time charter fee. Sometimes a company is willing to pay for the one-time membership, the members' individual fees, that $20. And whatever the company is willing to commit to, when you're the chair, what the first thing you're going to do is at the beginning, or when it comes to halfway through the meeting, and you're trying to find out who wants to join the club. Again, you want to share the value and how the company has bought into this club. So you might start off by saying once the questions there's no more questions, you might ask or you might say to the members of the club your company has really bought into the value of Toastmasters. And one of the things your company has done is they're providing a lot of value to you to ensure that you're getting this investment at a much lower cost than it could easily be. So some of the things your company has done is first of all, the boardroom that your company is providing. Most Toastmasters clubs have to pay a weekly cost for that boardroom. Your company is providing that boardroom. To ensure the costs are even lower, your company has even stepped up. They're paying for the one-time charter fee to start this club. And they're also paying for each individual member's fee to start a club, the fee that's going to pay for all your manuals and everything that you're going to get as soon as we charter this club. What's it going to cost to become a member of your Toastmasters club? Well, most members pay somewhere in the proximity range of $100 every 6 months but because your company has provided the room, has provided all those costs, to be a member of your club, it's going to be like $60 a month. You've seen some of the features, the values, the benefits of joining this Toastmasters club. My question to you is, knowing the value, knowing the investment, how many members here are willing to join this club right now? Now I'm waiting for all those hands to go up. And when I see that 20, 25 hands go up, I know we're ready to start a new club that day. So the very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create the excitement in that company and say, hey, listen, the first thing we need to do is get a name for your club. And as the chair, I might have a real hokey name that I've thought of before the meeting, but I might throw that name out as an example. And then I'll ask around for other examples. And before you know it, people are starting to throw names at us. And when we throw those names at us, we put all those names together on a board, and then we start asking people to vote on the names that they see. We get the names down to 2 or 3 names with the votes, and then we have them vote on the name that they want for the club. And once they do that vote, they've already bought into their club. They're excited about joining the club. They have a name that they came up with themselves. And now we're going to ask, so which day of the week, which time of the day would you like your club to be? And before we get all these questions answered, now they have made a decision. They know where the club's going to be. Next thing we do is we vote in their club officers. Then we shake everybody's hands and congratulate them because they've just chartered a brand new club at that location.
Jean, what are the 3 roles that you
Wow.
need to make sure that you have club officers for if you can't get through all the elections?
If you can't get through all the elections now, I hope I'm getting this answer right, but obviously you need a club president. You need a secretary, I'm guessing, Carol?
Yes.
And probably a treasurer.
Actually,
Yeah.
no, one of the VPs.
VP of Education.
Any VP.
Any VP.
VP
Okay,
membership.
I put you on the spot. I'm sorry. I should have just said it.
But,
Yeah, the way it goes there is you can go.
Oh,
Sorry.
Joe?
You can go president, vice president of education. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yep,
Yes.
I can hear you.
You can go president, vice president of education. You can go together, secretary and treasurer together, and sergeant at arms if you have one. Great. If not, not a problem. So,
however, if you've got 20 people,
those are the lineups that you can go.
if you got 20 people,
You should have a full slate of officers with 20.
yeah.
The reason why I got that wrong is because when I chair the meeting, I always leave with all my club officers in line.
Oh, you're good. I usually run out of time.
There you go. Sure.
Okay. Now, there's differences between chartering an advanced club and a regular club, whether that regular club is a corporate club, a specialty club, or a community club. So what is it for advanced clubs?
So advanced clubs, if I'm not mistaken, you have to have 17 current members of Toastmasters?
Dual members, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Sorry.
So you could have 3 that don't belong to Toastmasters right now.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And with the community club, you have to have 17 new Toastmasters, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct.
Yes, that is correct.
You could have 20. You could have
That's right.
more, but you have to have at least 17.
Yeah.
See, this is why I like the number 30. I always try to get 30 to line up for a charter night. If you can get 30 people in there for your demo meeting, you're bound to charter that first night. You really are. And then you've got a good, solid membership coming up to the due renewals. Because don't forget, you hit that due renewal period, your brand new club, believe it or not, you're going to lose some members. You don't like to see that happen. And if you don't have that cushion of membership behind you, you could be in trouble right off the bat.
Okay. There was a question that came up actually on last night's webinar, and it was about chartering a club that is a non-English speaking club. Do you want to talk about that, or do you want me to talk?
Well, I've actually had my challenges with the non-English speaking club. So, Caroline, sooner you talk about it.
Okay, maybe I'll just. I'm not fit for the camera right now, but I'm just going to pop my webcam on. Hello. Okay.
Hello.
So if you have non-English speaking people that want to form a club, there are non-English resources that they can use. So you could have a French club, you could have a Chinese club, you could have. There's I think 8. I think all the resources are translated into 8 languages, and then they've got some of the resources translated into a few others. And certainly as we get closer to rolling out pathways, region by region, they're making sure that all the languages of that region are in place before that region goes live. So if we look at British Columbia, in Victoria, we've got a lot of government workers, and we have a lot of government workers out here in, oh, no, I guess they're more in New West. They're more in District 96. But sometimes people want to practice their French-speaking skills, or they don't want to lose their mother tongue. And what clubs do in Europe is they do their meetings in their home language, and then they do their international speech contest in English.
Wow.
Yeah.
I went to a Mexican club when I was down in Mexico, and they actually all spoke English.
Oh, wow.
But they turned that whole meeting into English so I would know what they're saying.
Oh, that's
I
nice.
thought to myself, it would have been much easier just speaking Mexican, believe me. It was fun.
I wanted to go to a Toastmasters club when I was in Mexico, but Heather wouldn't let me.
Okay.
Sorry.
So I'm just looking for questions. Our attendees, if you have some questions or thoughts or comments, just type them in the chat area. If you would rather speak them, put up your hand or say something in the chat, and I can upgrade you to presenter and you can actually speak. Our attendees are quiet. They are thinking. They are ponderous. Okay, what other questions can I come up with here? Okay. So the language question that came up. Oh, table topics. There was a person who is in the States, and he showed us a different way of doing table topics for demo meetings. And have you seen the cue card done, Jean? Have you seen that in action?
I got the Toastmasters cue cards. They're probably different, though.
Oh, no, it's just you get the recipe cards. Bring and some blank recipe cards with you. And as people come in the room, make sure everybody gets a blank recipe card. And you tell them to write something interesting, something unique about them, something that they have done, or a talent or skill that they have that other people in the room might not know. And don't put their name on it. So they all secretly write whatever it is, and you collect those before the meeting starts. When you get to the table topics portion, you can share, well, this is the impromptu speaking part, and I collected cards from you as you were coming through the door. Just to get us started, I'm going to read one of these cards, and I would like everybody in the room, in 3 seconds after I finish reading the card, to point to the person in the room you think wrote that card. So you finish reading it, everyone's all excited, and you pick something really exciting. They point to somebody, and then you say, will the real person who did this thing, and an example was jumped out of an airplane and their parachute didn't open, please stand up. And of course that person stands up and everyone goes, oh, and they're applauding madly. Now what you've done is you've made them feel that they know the audience. They feel that warm welcome. It's not this cold room. And while they're standing, you say, oh, no, stay standing because we have to hear about this. Now you get them talking. It's about a subject that they've probably talked about hundreds of times, so they know it well. So you feel like you know your audience, you know your subject, and the purpose is to share that experience with others so they know their purpose of speaking for that time. You stay standing so they don't feel like they have the floor for 7 minutes or anything. You're standing, so they'll keep it pretty much to 2 minutes. It's amazing how that works. Mm-hmm. And then you madly applaud for them. They sit down, and then, of course, you share some of the strengths that you saw in that speech already. Then you say, okay, now I'm going to do another. Now everyone's thinking, oh, what did I write? And they're preparing themselves. So if they do get called, they feel confident, and they're going to receive that extra boost from everybody in the room. They're going to receive a little bit of feedback. And they have that win. Get through as many of those cards as you can. And everyone who does that wants to join because they see the value in it right away.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, I think on February 8th, I'm going to bring a bunch of cards with me, Carol.
Yay. We'll have fun with that.
Laura had a question. I don't know if you saw that or not.
Oh, I missed it.
I saw her name up there. I didn't see the question.
Looking for the question. I don't see the question. Why is it not?
How do you approach a branch of a multinational company? How do you approach a branch of a multinational company?
Well, I'll start by answering that question. Sorry. First thing I'm going to do when I approach a company is I'm going to go to the HR department, and I'm going to identify who I am, and just ask for permission to meet with them, and just tell them I'd like to share some benefits for them where they might consider starting a Toastmasters club. I don't care how big the company is, but if you've got a key focus person at that particular location, once you've lined up and created that relationship with that person, you're probably going to get to a very key person to start in that company.
Mm-hmm. One thing that multinational company, and perhaps Gene, you could tip on this. We've talked about having 20 people, but when we go into a corporation and we know they have 120, 130 staff employees in that corporation, how many people should we be asking for to come into that meeting?
Well, it's the same thing. I like your number of 30, but every time I talk to that corporation, I always suggest to them I need a minimum of 25 people at that meeting. Mm-hmm. And Joe, I want you just mentioned a really key thing. Is a lot of times when you do get a potential corporate company or corporate club, a lot of people will say, hey, listen, we'd like to start a corporate club, and they're really enthusiastic. And first question you'll ask them is how many people do you have at that particular location? And you might get an answer back like 40 or 45. I would immediately be asking that company would you be willing to have a club that invites people from outside of your company? Because you need a number something like 100 plus. And the number usually here is 150. But if you have 30 or 40 people, you're just not going to be successful starting a new club at that area, no matter how enthusiastic they are.
So, I mean, would it be safe if they had, say, 90 people that were willing to start a club? Could you turn around and say to that corporation, listen, let's get 3 clubs going in your corporation right here. 3 different nights. You got 3 charters.
With 90 people, it'd be tough, Joe. But the thing is, when you do get a lot of people, if there's a lot of where I look for that 2 or 3 is when I get that demo meeting. When I get that demo meeting, and if I've got 60 people at the demo meeting, immediately I'm asking them, hey, listen, here's an opportunity to form a couple perhaps even three opportunities during the week where you might want to start this new club.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Next question from Laura was, I have been asked to approach the department managers by the general manager to explain the values of Toastmasters. Wow.
Beautiful.
That's great, Laura. Gene, go ahead.
No, explaining the values. Everybody has a story, and probably everybody on this thing tonight has a story of what they remember, where Toastmasters has taken them to a whole new level. Mm-hmm. And sharing those stories that you have with them, before you know it, they're going to see the value to their company and the biggest thing I can see for any company is usually when we start a corporate club, the people that really progress along the company, the people that get the promotions, often are people from the Toastmasters Club. Those people that develop that confidence. One thing I should point out is we get a lot of people who get incredible degrees at universities, and they'll go to an interview and absolutely bomb in the interview and have absolutely no success in getting that big job that they're so incredibly qualified for. But you develop those skills of confidence, skills of being able to formulate your thoughts and being able to present more effectively. It is amazing how much success you will have. And when you do those corporate clubs and people can see that how other people grow as a result of it, and they see it when they come to their meetings, they see other people growing and can't believe how well they're doing.
Next question.
Can you start clubs that are specific for employees, assistant managers, and managers? Is that more successful?
I can't answer that. All the corporate clubs that I have been involved in starting, it's usually a gamut of employees. So sometimes you have just employees that have no management skills at all, and you try to get the managers involved. Can it be successful? I think the answer to that would be: do you have enough managers that would be interested to form a club?
I'd like to weigh in on that one, actually.
Yes.
There are some companies that have multiple departments, and there's some rivalry between the departments. And that we have actually had one club fold in one corporation and another one start because their numbers started dwindling, but the people from the other department didn't want to join that club. They wanted their own club. So they had a bunch of people from that other department that had been waiting to join Toastmasters but didn't want to hang out with those guys. So you really have to take a look at the culture within the organization. You can make it a fun. I see there's a thumbs up running across the bottom of the screen.
Was that a finger?
That was pretty cool.
That was a thumbs up. And sometimes it can be quite daunting for managers to go in and hang out with those who might see a weakness in them. So that sometimes holds the upper management from being part of a club. I would take a really good look at the culture and ask lots of questions. So how many managers do you have? How are they during your regular training? Did they want to be in the training with their people? Do they hesitate? Do they want to be in a league of their own? If so, well, why don't we start a special group for them?
Well, that's what I was saying. You get 90 people in there. You're always going to have different attitudes with each other. Hence, 30 members in each club.
Yeah. So we've got another question. Ooh.
Yes, Jennifer. Are there specific brochures, handouts that you would take with you?
Well, my answer to that is you just harass the district director to see if you get a bunch of brochures.
That's right. or the club growth director. He's got a bunch also. But yes, there are many brochures that you can take anywhere to hand out. Definitely.
But the one
And all
key
you have to do also, Jennifer, if you wanted to, call up TI directly and tell them exactly what you're doing, what you need, and they will send you a package that you won't believe. You'll say, oh my God, I got a box. And when you open that box, it's going to be all the brochures. Yes, you're doing the wave, Carol? You're scaring me. Now you're talking with no sound.
Sorry, I forgot you can see me. I'm
Okay.
stopping somebody from walking in the room.
Usually, oh, hi, yes. Don't come in. What a nice way to treat your man. Boy, that's great.
Sorry.
One thing I want to answer Jennifer's question, though, is the real key brochure is the one you can get right off the district or the Toastmasters website. Is the brochure that shows all the breakdowns. It's really thick, but it's a digital copy that you can send right to them, and it's amazing if you get people that are really inquisitive. They can get almost any information they want before you even have to address it with them.
Mm-hmm. Our next question is: I have a 5 to 10 minutes of presentation to present Toastmasters, so a handout is key. Excellent. Yes, definitely. But if you got a 5 to 10 minute presentation for Toastmasters, well done, because a lot of corporate clubs won't even give you that. Like a lot of corporations don't want you speaking for 10 minutes to their employees to say, this is why you need us. So yes, a handout is excellent. Give them as much as you can give them.
I'm going to make a suggestion too. If anyone's thinking of a corporate club, you could get a sneaky demo meeting in by offering a lunch and learn, and you hold it just like a demo meeting.
You bet.
Except you don't do the full-on sales pitch at the end. You just get their buy-in and find out how many people could see the value of having a weekly meeting like this where you can grow your skills and you practice in a safe environment. Do you think that will help your career? And if a bunch of hands go up, okay, well, who do I talk to about maybe forming a club here? and can I get you guys to all back me up?
Yeah.
So can I get your names on a piece of paper if you are truly interested in being involved, and then you've got your club pre-chartered right there.
Now, Gene, I'm sorry, I have a question for you. Presenting Toastmasters to a group, whether it be a corporate club or whether it be a community club or an advanced club. Say I want to start up a club and I'm thinking about it, but I want to do it in July or August. What would you suggest to me?
I would say now or September. Keep in mind, July, everybody is so busy with the summer, so busy with everybody's away, vacation, with all the vacations and everything. The problem is you do all that hard work week to week to week, and you get 8, 10, 12 people and never get close to chartering the meeting. You reach a point where you think this just isn't working, and sometimes people just decide they're not going to charter a club because they can't get enough interest. My answer is now is the best time in the world. Why is now the best time? Because Toastmasters right now, we're coming into February, Toastmasters month. We're getting all the chances. We're getting so many different ways to sell, promote, and the enthusiasm and all that excitement is happening now. You get into July, it really is tough sledding.
Okay. Does it take a lot to start up a club?
Gosh, I guess because I love it so much, my first response is no. If you get the people there, you get the presentation where you show them what they're going to get back from it, and so a lot of times you say, how do you get the people? How can I get 25 people if you're, say, starting a community club? every community, almost every community, has a free local paper. They love to give that information out as far as what's going on in their community. We are starting a Toastmasters club, and you share in the paper what people are going to get from it. And this coming Tuesday at the whatever city hall or wherever it's going to be, you'd be shocked on how many people come just from that newspaper ad. Then you tell some of the local Toastmasters club, hey, listen, we're starting a new Toastmasters club right here. It's going to be here. A lot of times the guests are coming and it's not convenient for them to join that club, but all of a sudden they hear. And if you spread it around between the Toastmasters clubs, between the free advertising and your Facebook, before you know it, you've got lots of people coming to the meeting. You create the excitement, and before you know it, that club starts just like that.
Okay. Anything else from either one of you ladies? Jennifer or Laura? I'll have to open up the floor to you. Laura, it sounds like you have your work cut out for you. I'm looking forward to seeing the results. If either Jean or myself can be of any assistance to you whatsoever, please do not hesitate to contact either Jean or myself. And Jennifer, I know that you were going to start up a club, and I think we should talk more about that, because I think you could. Oh, no tears. Happies. I don't want to see tears. Another question from Laura. Oh, question won't start. What happened to the question?
It's up there. It says, thank you so very much.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I didn't see that part. I was looking at the other part. Trying to be techie. So Jennifer's got a sad sack. Why have you got a sad face there? You're crying.
I'm trying to put my email and my phone number up there so people can see it if they have any questions or they want any support and help. But I can't see where to put it up there.
Oh, I'm in the attendee chat, so hopefully everybody sees that link. That link is to the resource on how to sponsor a new club. That is everything you could ever need or want in order to make a new club happen. And by the way, there are electronic copies of the brochures that we have physical copies of. Unfortunately, the physical copies all live in Joe's office. And so if you want a packet of physical pamphlets, you connect with Joe, and Joe is easy to get a hold of. His information is on our D21 Toastmasters.org site. But Joe, do you want to type your... There you go. Oh, he's got his phone number in there, and he can type in his email address. If you want electronic copies of the brochure so that they can be circulated, and sometimes that's handy if you're dealing with a corporation, Joe can also forward those to you.
Well, that's telus.net, not .bet.
Oh,
sorry, my fat little thumbs.
Want to retype that?
Yeah, I'll just retype that one. Holy Moses.
Okay, so seeing no other questions.
I can't see very well because I got a light blinding me here.
Oh, we've got one more question. Let me just take a look. Whoops. Could you say, cannot see that. Could you say it? I don't know why the attendee chat's not showing up. Okay, so none of you could view the resources either. Hang on, let me just change the settings. Oh, there's a thumbs down. Let me change the settings, and I will show chat. Okay. So can you see the chat now? Can everybody see the chat? Oh, now I got a thumbs up. Yay! So if you scroll up to the top of that chat, you'll see the link that you can click on where you can download the entire
new club.
Yeah, and it's got all the forms. It's got absolutely everything in it.
That is an excellent piece of equipment there, right there. That whole manual is just, that's where you want. That's what you want, and that's how you do it. Everything we've talked here tonight is right from that manual. Well, in our own experiences.
And you want all those forms at that demo meeting so you get everything signed and sent off to TI as soon as possible.
Ooh, that's the other thing. If you're printing double-sided to save trees, you want to print the membership form single-sided. And that's so that you can easily scan it and email it. Everything else can be double-sided.
Yeah.
You want at least 20 of those forms, 25 to be on the safe side.
You bet.
Okay.
So.
Any other questions?
Okay. Any other questions?
Yeah. See that. Could you say it? Is that still? Can she see
that
it?
Was
now?
old. That was old. That's old.
Okay.
Add a link to the brochure. The link to the brochure is scroll to the top of the chat. Did you not see it? Did it not? Let me grab.
You see the
this.
link at the very top if you scroll up, Jennifer?
Let me grab this. Hang on. Grabbing, and I'm going to retype it. There we go. Okay. I just added it once more.
Potential companies. Okay.
The brochures. Are you talking about brochures, or are you talking about the document that I just put the link up for?
No, she's talking about brochures to give to potential companies.
Yes, if you could forward those.
It's
in Insightly.
Yeah.
In
Yes,
Insightly.
I will forward those to you, Jennifer.
Even a number so I can search for it. I love the little thumbs up. Just the brochure number, and then online she can just type that in. And go straight to it.
Right.
But if we send an email from Insightly that is already preloaded with all of them, then that's probably simpler.
Yeah, I'll send that out.
Okay. Any other questions? Concerns? Kudos? So you had all of your burning questions answered. So as far as the demo meetings and the sponsors, this came up. Somebody asked before, the sponsors, who picks the sponsors?
Well, what I like to do is if I'm chairing the demo meeting, I always, if there's not two Toastmasters that have stepped forward that they want to start this club, what I always try to do is get one Toastmaster and one person from that company to be the sponsors as a team. But who picks the sponsors is the person who's trying to start the club.
Yep. So if Jennifer is trying to start a club, Jennifer would be the sponsor, and she can bring somebody in as a partner with her. Definitely. The same thing with Laura. So you don't have to have help. If you think you can do it all by yourself, that's great. But I would strongly suggest that you have a co-sponsor. It doesn't have to be Gene or me or anybody else from the district. It doesn't even have to be a Toastmaster. It can be like Gene was saying, it can be somebody right from that new club. So that's the whole thing, is that you definitely want to have hopefully I need a lot of help.
And Laura, do you see the telephone numbers and everything, and the emails?
love this.
Can't wait to provide that support for you.
And this is the whole thing, Laura. Is you're going corporate by the looks of it. Gene is the one you want to talk to. He's the corporate guy, and I can help, and everybody can help with community clubs. So definitely. But if you're going to go strictly with corporate, I would definitely sick Gene on you. Well, not sick him on you, but he's the one that you'd want to talk to. He will direct you from step 1 right through to step 4 and everything else in between, and you will be successful in no time at all. So
yes, that's an important point. You will get as much or as little help as you choose. So it's up to you on what you need or what you feel you need. We're not there to interfere. We're there to boost however we can. Joe loves working with people on these things and being very supportive.
Yeah, I do. I actually went to my old club the club that I started myself.
I love Laura.
Yeah, she's great. And I went there on Tuesday, and it was so neat because I had one of the members say, "Oh, here's our daddy. He's back." And yeah, it's great to have that recognition, even though I hadn't been there for a while, but they know who I was, and it's kind of nice. So,
by the way, Joe, in that one question you asked as far as picking the sponsors, a lot of times when I start a club, I have time to be the mentor for the club, so I look for a sponsor, some other leader who can get full advantage of doing all the other things needed to be done.
That's right. That's right.
Just we're really close to the end of the webinar here. I just wanted to add a comment. It is so special to be able to look at a club and say, I did that.
Yeah.
I created that.
That's right.
And to think of how many lives you will change over the course of that club. If that club lasted 50 years, how many lives could be changed by that one club? It's pretty exciting stuff. And when you're convincing those first people to join that club, and if they're sitting on the fence and they're not sure, if you can let them know how exciting it is to look back at a club and say, I was a founding member of that club. And you get a certificate as a founding member, as a charter member. And it's something special. Some clubs have even done up plaques with everybody's name on it, and they keep that and they bring it out at special events so that everybody can see who their founding members were. So pretty exciting.
And I absolutely agree with that, Carol. I can't begin to tell you how good it feels when you see that excitement and that club is going. It's supercharged.
All right. So we encourage you in your quest to start a new club. And again, if you're stalling because you're not sure how to get started or you want to wrap your brain around something, the best thing to do is to pick up the phone and call Joe or call Jean or get on your computer and email Jean or email Joe and ask them questions. They will help get you unstuck. They will help you bypass any fear or hesitation or uncertainty. And as soon as you start putting one foot in front of the other, you would be amazed at how easy it is to charter a club.
And when you become a sponsor, you'll get this. You'll get that in the mail. And it's, you look at it and you don't think, oh, it's just a piece of paper. But do you know how proud I am of every single one of these pieces of paper that I received from Toastmasters? This is my life for the last 10 years. Double-sided, every single certificate I got. And I am very, very proud of this. I'm very proud of those 2 plaques that are sitting behind my head. Distinguished Toastmaster. And it all starts from opening up a new club, for giving 20 other people a little bit of help from the experience that you've gotten yourself. We all started somewhere, and now we get to share it. And it's a great feeling.
All
So
right.
don't be afraid. That's the main thing. Don't be afraid of starting something wonderful, because it is something wonderful. Thank you, Laura. I don't know if you're
I love
clapping
Laura.
me down like
I
timer.
Okay.
Listen, this was our first time we ever did this, Gene and I, and it's been a blast. And I'm hoping to do it again with them soon. And Carol, thank you for being my techie. Gene, you did it again, my friend. Thank you very much. And to our two people online right now, Jennifer and Laura, like I said, if there's anything we can do for you, please do not hesitate to ask. Thank you all, and good night.
Good night.
Bye. I'm just going to end. Whoops. End.